Welcome back, everyone, to Red Spotlight. I'm Alexis, and I'm joined by David Francisco, Force Agent Show Reaction Commentary Series. A chance for the longtime S.H.I.E.L.D. fan to come back on here and talk endlessly about one of our favorite shows of all time. Last week, we were here reacting and commentating to the second episode of Season 2, and that was a big one. And here we are again with the third. Did I say second episode of Season 2 or 3?
I can't remember.
Whatever I meant. I meant the second episode of Season 3. Here we are for today. The third episode of Season 3 called A Wanted Inhuman. This was written by Monica Owosso-Breen and directed by Gary Brown. Gary A. Brown, I should say. Of course, this returns the main cast: Clark Gregg, Ming-Na Wen, Chloe Bennett, Ina Casticker, Elizabeth Henstridge, Nick Blood, Adrian Palicki, Henry Simmons, and Luke Mitchell. Joined by Constance Zimmer as Rosalind Price, Andrew Howard as Luther Banks, and other guest appearances. This was originally broadcast on October 13th, 2015, to a total of 3.74 million viewers. And yeah, that's great. Before we begin the actual reaction itself, we have some comments from the previous episode. So, David, can we go ahead and get those comments right now?
Okay. First one's from Silva. Greetings, fellow agents. I always have to make the same joke about James Hong in this episode. Now we know why Melinda May is so badass. She's the daughter of Lo Pan from Big Trouble in Little China. So, yeah, that's good. Have you seen that?
Thank you for that. A long time ago.
Oh, long. Okay.
Long, yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. And then next one's from Serenity. Jeff Bell was the one who worked on Angel, and while he didn't create, as far as I'm aware, the hubcap axe from Gun, it appeared in an episode he wrote. I can see him suggesting the idea when Mac became important in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Also, in the final season of Buffy, she was gifted a scythe, a fancy axe. In fact, the axe Mac uses in early season 5 before Fitz shows up and gives him back the shotgun axe. It's like a fun mix of the scythe and hubcap axe. Anyways, axes are a thing in the Whedonverse. So
apparently they are. Thank you very much for that context, Serenity. That actually could be a pretty good explanation for the genesis of what would be the shotgun axe. I mean, they definitely knew they wanted to do it. Probably as early as the first episode, right? Because when that's where this comment came from, our response to like talking about the of Max saying it to himself, you know. So obviously they knew they were going to do this, and so I love how they set it up. And we'll be seeing more of that. Okay?
Yeah, that's all.
Anything else?
That's all.
Well, I say let's just go ahead and jump right into this.
Previously on Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
So you think the Rock is a portal?
So let's see here. Last we left off, they have Simmons back. And there's still a lot of mystery as to what that is, purposefully so. I was wondering, David, when you were watching this, if you can recall, and mind you, of course, we know this full well, that there are many things that are not immediately, like, memorable. But did you think we were going to get a full explanation for what happened to Simmons in this third episode? Or did you just get the sense that whatever happened to her was going to be revealed later, not necessarily this way? I guess that kind of is a stupid question, because I feel like the flashbacks themselves kind of give you a pretty good clue about what the episode is going to do. So I guess that kind of answered itself, because if you look at the flashbacks, okay, and then of course how it starts off with, we already have here Lincoln Campbell on the run from banks and the ATCUs. So yeah, I guess if you want to answer that question, David, you can, but I just feel like it kind of answered itself.
I think I always knew there was going to be an episode fully for Simmons and what happened to her on the other planet. I can't remember though if I thought it was going to be on the next episode that we're going to get answers to, or if it was going to be down the line. Either way though, I just knew we were just going to get an explanation at the very least. Or to get like a whole episode of what happened to her.
Yes. You know, what's really interesting is, like, I feel that stuff with Simmons just feels like it's so disconnected from everything else happening right now in the early part of the season. But when you remember, oh no, it actually is all going to wrap around, and that's going to be the destination we're going to be at, which you don't even expect it at this moment in time. That there's going to be a showdown on Maveth in the season finale. So, and speaking of Simmons, we're getting here, I guess, again, I try to think of these scenes after knowing what I know now that we haven't been shown just yet.
Any mention of life, intelligent or otherwise?
Some flora, no fauna.
She said she was being hunted.
Wait, what? What does that mean? Hunted by what?
She didn't say. I don't know if she even knows.
My God. Imagine her having to go through all that alone for that long.
I was laughing at the going through that alone. I'm like,
Well, so far as you know.
yeah.
To be fair, though, she was alone for a minute.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But
How the hell did you get this number?
That's not important. What's important right now is that you get somewhere safe.
I just bought this phone.
Yes, I know, 35 minutes ago at a liquor store at 71st and Binford.
I don't think that would make him feel better, Daisy.
Talk to you before...
I can't believe you would do this.
Just, Lincoln, just hear me out, okay?
well, I mean, I don't know. I think it's just best to know. It's like, hey, we can find you. They can find you. Come on.
You're not walking out of here till my partner has said a piece.
It's just incredible to me how Lincoln can be so, like, smart to remember that, oh, that's where the tracker was placed. And at the same time, be so foolish, too. It's like,
Creeped up that you put a tracker in him.
you know S.H.I.E.L.D. isn't the bad guy. But there are these Black Ops people who are literally coming to kill you. And you have a friend in Daisy. Why are you refusing their help? You are literally being hunted down by law enforcement throughout the country. What hope do you actually have of getting out of this?
As I live and breathe.
Whatever issues you have, I mean, you don't have to commit to join a fucking team. Just ask them for shelter.
Yeah.
But, okay. I mean, these are just... These are examples of some of the issues that I come with... I stumble with Lincoln this season. It's just like, he's so stubborn to the point of just being... not the smartest person in the room. And this happens quite a bit in this season. So, this whole thing... By the way, this is fun here.
Oh, yeah.
This is... this whole thing with May tagging along and trying to, like, assist Hunter, and she, you know how May is. She just wants to get this thing over with. But that's not what's happening here.
Van for donkeys, me and this joker. 50 keys of black market cognium steel in the back. And then on the radio.
Winding neck in.
That song, Love Bites, come on, you know that song? Yeah, so that...
I'm not even sure, I may have spoke over it, but did she say right now, because you guys aren't hard enough to understand sober or something like that? Like,
Yeah.
making fun of their accents? That was
I thought you meant like
hilarious.
because there were guys or something, but no, I'm real wrong.
No, I think it's
It's the accent, yeah.
That's what it is. Like, I'm trying to think of a movie.
He'll start talking shop, so he's gonna pass out. So
Have something to unload?
There are some accents where, like, I really do need subtitles. Like, I can understand some words, but not all of them. I want to say that the first time I saw The Benches of Inisherin, I didn't catch every word. I'll just say that. So there are some thick accents. There are some really thick accents out there, and it's hard to get everything.
You fight your hand. If you're the last man standing, you'll get a meeting.
Yeah, at this point, I'd be like, well, that's cool, but no, that's not happening.
I could have talked him in if you didn't put an unsolicited tracker under his skin.
If you didn't call to alert him, then we...
Why wasn't I
We
told?
thought you were a little close to the situation.
Of course I'm close to the situation. You asked me to assemble a team and I accepted. I didn't expect to be undermined.
You know what I didn't expect? A global outbreak. The ATCU, their Inhuman manhunt. I didn't see all that coming, to be honest. I wanted to assemble a team to get ahead of the problem, but that didn't happen. So, Daisy,
Again, I love the fucking dialogue, man. I
Yes,
miss this so much in so many shows where it's just like, just give us information. The actors do their thing, and that's how you make characters. But instead, it's like they want to put in a specific type of line, and then that's how we get characters. But it's like, no, you you just go with the plot.
They went through a lot right there.
Mhm.
And through the direction and the acting, they were all able to just like, oh, I guess that was an exposition dump. But it didn't feel that way.
It didn't. No, it's just
It didn't feel that way.
that was great information of like how the whole situation is handled within each of their own characters and all that. It's just it's so good.
What is it?
Man. If I were Simmons, I would just not get out of bed.
Mhm.
If I'm being honest with you, if you can work your way, I'm sorry, if a shower head is too much stimulation for you, stay in bed.
Mhm.
Stay in bed. There's no need for you to be out.
I hope you're not too disappointed.
No, on the contrary, you're self-diagnosing, which is a sign you're on the mend.
Great line right there too. You're self-diagnosing, which is a sign you're on the mend. Which at the time, that would be a hopeful thing to say, but again, in retrospect, oh, Fitz, you poor clueless bastard.
Drink. Planes, trains, and automobiles. Chasing.
2 coming to Disney Plus near you. Planes, Trains, and Automobile 2. That's what I was referring to, but that probably won't get made. So, and if it does get made, don't watch crap like that.
You know how complicated these things can be. Affairs of the heart, especially in our line of work. Me and Bob, you and Andrew.
I love how Hunter was. You saw an attempt there to kind of like get May to open up a little bit, and she didn't even pretend to care. It's
Yeah.
like, we're not talking about it.
Mhm.
There was like a little bit of a not a pause, but just silence there to see if she was going to like engage with that, and not even to care.
Spud runs with a type, and if that type see a small Asian woman destroy some wannabe Hydra thug in a bare-knuckle brawl, that type will talk, and word might spread up the ranks.
See your point.
I love. That's the thing. I love that line right there, Hunter. She was so disappointed. Damn, I don't get to kick his ass.
Yeah.
Like that's.
So, how much do you have riding on this bet that I left Andrew?
A significant sum.
Well, you lost it.
See, again though, putting out information in the character way. Of course, May is not gonna be like, yes, you know what, Andrew left me and all that. She's not gonna have a heart to heart. It's just like, okay, here's the information. That's all you're gonna get. That's how you get information out.
You're the only one I trust.
No, I just.
Get in.
I love how, in a way, I guess it's kind of opening up because she did kind of confirm something significant. But I love how petty she was about it. She was like, so, how much did you actually bet on me? And she took pleasure in basically telling him, you lost a bunch of money. Even though at the same time, she kind of confirmed, yeah, he left me, but joke's on you, you lost. I mean, of course May would do that.
It's a misunderstanding. I promise you, I haven't done anything wrong.
Okay. That is all I need to hear.
I don't know if you caught earlier. This guy earlier said when he picked Lincoln up, have you been drinking or something? So, this is the first, well, actually second. I feel like when, between season 2 and 3, Team S.H.I.E.L.D. Unearthed some revelations about Lincoln that Mac, I think, knew. Well, actually, no, that's not true necessarily. Mac did not want Lincoln going out there because I think Lincoln kind of like went a little bit overboard as far as like injuring some S.H.I.E.L.D. agents when he was being led by Jiaying. So I understand that. But there are some other issues happening with Lincoln. We will come to realize he has, maybe we've already seen, a number of anger issues. But that also he has a drinking problem. Or he had a drinking problem. And I think this guy and his whole existence here kind of confirms that this is somebody that Lincoln had relied on in the past when things have happened. And I think in a later episode, it's going to be revealed that Lincoln's issues were so bad that he nearly killed his ex-girlfriend in a bad car accident. So Lincoln goes here because this is somebody who's helped him before. Unfortunately for Lincoln, this will not work out this time. Lincoln could have been for. I mean, look again. Lincoln is a smart character, but he doesn't always behave like an intelligent character because there are things that he probably should tell him, because it doesn't even take a couple of minutes when he goes into the kitchen, turns on the TV, and gee, I wonder what's going to happen. And if I'm not mistaken, didn't Daisy kind of warn him already that they were going to go public or something like that? Like, it's not that far off. So again, I this is not me being critical of necessarily the writing for the character. It's more so just the execution of it. Like, on paper, these things aren't necessarily problems, but it's just the way that it's communicated. And I just feel like, on some level,
You know what you need to do.
the problems with Lincoln, the flaws with Lincoln as a person, not necessarily as a character,
I cannot believe you're here. Sky.
don't always result in a satisfying watch. It sounds like I've been bitching about him the entire episode. Not necessarily. This is just me putting myself in his position. It's like, what are you thinking? What are you thinking? I understand, of course, he wants nothing to do with these people, but I keep saying, you know better than that already. It's like there's no escape. I mean, he was held prisoner by Hydra. He should know that there are groups out there that will go to they will stop at no cost.
Not exactly the penthouse.
To capture him.
You looking for something?
See, automatically, this guy knows. He's kind of panicking. He's breathing hard. Like,
Sorry I brought you
he has
into
a
this. No, John. Come on, John!
Yeah, at this point, what are you going to do?
If I did, I
Don't worry about that now.
What's wrong?
I need help.
So, credit for Lincoln for not being a complete dumbass here. It's like, yeah, at this point, I'm done.
Yeah.
Because what's about to happen next is that they're going to blame him for this man dying.
It'd be safer if Mac handled the extraction.
I know, but then he won't come. It's gotta be me.
Your call.
Hey, where are you going?
To the beach.
The way he said that.
You check on Simmons?
Yeah, she's kind of distant. I'm not sure that I know how to help her.
What did you drill into my head when I started rehabbing my knee?
Patience.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know.
Has there been an interaction with these? Oh, wait, no, yeah, she's been helping him. I forgot about that.
Yes.
Could be. It reminds her of the way
But
things were.
this is for sure the first interaction between the two, just one-on-one talking. I can't remember now. Dang.
Give her something to look forward to. Start fresh.
When it comes to this season, yes. Yeah. Oh, actually, maybe even never. Like, last season, I'm not sure there ever was one-on-one with these two.
Yeah. No, for sure last season there wasn't a one-on-one.
Yeah.
But I was just talking about the last 2 episodes and all that, which, yeah, I don't think there was really a one-to-one conversation with them, unless it was over the phone, but face-to-face is for sure the first time. But it's cool, though, that they have a mutual bond with their both recovery and everything.
Gotta say, I was pretty surprised when I got your call. Eyes up here.
Busted. Sorry.
She has a similar car to his, too, so already they're showing things of hey, these two.
Does she have a name?
But it's just a car. And it's a him.
Are you good?
I'm not the one who needs to be good.
Richie's here. We can get
Can
started.
be inherent, danger that you can see coming is, you see how far Hunter is going to go to basically get justice for Bobby.
All right, in position.
Were you having a laugh?
Especially with what's going to happen right here. Hunter isn't really the best when it comes to showing restraint. He's going to get what he wants to get. And he is going to get very cavalier about playing fast and loose with putting others at risk. So I don't know. I feel like part of him is not necessarily sure in this moment if he's going to be able to do what he needs to do, but he does it. And that's not something that's just going to leave him the same as he was before. It's going to keep pushing him into a descent in which he is going to fall out of favor with a lot of the team in regards to who he ends up putting in danger. And it also, I think, is tied in directly with like Hunter's whole story arc this season, which is like, what is he really here for? Who is he really here for? And ultimately, what it is that he wants. And again, considering all of the things that are happening behind the scenes, I think it's pretty impressive. As awkward as it is, the placement that Hunter and Bobby leave, they are setting up the seeds for their departure in a way that is not like, you know, embarrassing. Like, okay, I can kind of track where it's going to be going. So there's that for
How
right
about
here.
to do you a favor and not tell anyone that a tiny little Asian woman kicked your ass?
In this, I know I just talked over this whole thing, but this was just so good to see.
Mm-hmm.
Like, anytime May kicks ass,
Yeah.
it's a great sequence, right?
Mm-hmm.
But, like, just the humiliation, and those assholes were asking for it.
Oh, yeah.
Like, she didn't need to do that, but they forced her down there to do who knows what, but...
Also, the big guy that May fought, he's in a show called Ghosts. Really funny. I love that show.
The CBS show?
Yeah.
Somebody gonna call it?
What's the point? He's not breathing.
That is, yeah. Even May is like... And when May's taking it back, this ain't good.
Mm-hmm. Also, that might be the
So-
most gruesome moment so far in the show.
Yeah.
Just all
Yeah.
the blood on him. Oh my god.
Yep.
You're having a hell of a day.
I killed him.
Something, by the way, Coulson said to her about a season ago. This is the episode where they're at the restaurant. Raina's threatening Simmons, and she reveals that she wants her, Daisy, to come with her to go see her father. And then at the end of the episode, Daisy discovers where her father has been, I guess, living or working. And then Coulson says to her, "You're having a hell of a day."
Mm-hmm.
So, like that. Now she's on the other end of that.
I'm not agreeing to work with S.H.I.E.L.D., but with you.
We'll figure it out together.
About that.
Change your plans.
The timing could not be worse.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to put that out there. She just got him, and then this bullshit happens.
Turn him over to the ATCU.
If I were Daisy, I'd be like,
God.
what the fuck?
Yep.
It just got...
What's the range on these powers of yours? How good are they?
Range. Everywhere. Just
I thought it'd be good for you to get out somewhere nice and quiet.
I'm sorry, I completely forgot about Fitz and Simmons. I was like, oh yeah, this is happening too. And look, I got to...
Where
look,
is everyone?
Well, I made sure you wouldn't have any distractions.
this sweet guy, like, he has come a long way. He literally jumped through a hole in the universe to get back somebody who has been by his side for many years, who he didn't realize he actually loved until recently. And finally, this is the date, as the guy just said there, that they had been scheduled to have for many, many months. He booked the whole restaurant just to make her feel comfortable.
mm-hmm.
And the thing is, Simmons sees that, and it's too much for her to bear. She's just like, this guy you're doing everything the right way, and it's making me feel even more guilty. And I don't want to tell you because I don't want to crush you. I don't want to hurt you. And right now, she's going to she's going to break down right now because it's too much.
Yeah.
Like, even...
What else was I gonna do?
And poor Fitz, like, he doesn't have a clue.
Should I make a toast? What?
She's seen the bottle of wine, the toast, which is something that I think a direct connection to Will. I believe they also had a bottle of wine that they found somewhere in the desert.
I understand this is a personal matter for you.
So Mac told you what he heard me say?
What would that be?
He meant that you're Inhuman,
yeah.
because you like Lincoln. Lincoln was like, I mean, Coulson was like, what?
Well, I'm surprised to hear from you so soon.
Just checking, making sure you didn't give me a fake number.
Speaking of liking people, those two, it's already done.
Yeah, it's good.
It's already done.
Everything about their interaction.
As soon as he saw that car, when he saw the car and he just couldn't keep his eyes off of it, I mean... She called back the same day.
Sure could use some back.
Come on.
You're safe. That portal won't open again.
But it has to. I have to go back.
What? That... I'm sure this is an ending. And I remember we were all collectively like again, not knowing where things are gonna go. Hilarious stuff. I'm sorry. Let me just go ahead and jump into some immediate reactions from Reddit. I like how Coulson just blatantly said, "No, we're not doing the Shield versus Shield plot again."
Yeah,
just basically
that's so
at
true.
the end of it.
But I mean, also too, it's like it's really cool though from a Reddit perspective because it's this thing of like, hey, he's learning from the past. You know, he's not gonna make that same mistake. But then also too, at the same time, it's for the writers being like, hey, we're not doing this again. Okay, we're gonna go differently now. Don't worry.
Yeah, and it also just it's a good reminder, and I think it's like, as a longtime viewer, if you've been watching from the very beginning, it's yet another like sign to be reassured that your time is never being wasted, that every moment counts. And even though sometimes it feels like things may be shortchanged, or maybe there wasn't enough time spent on this, in the long run, it always ends up being the case that it was time well worth, what happened. I think I don't know if some people thought to themselves that maybe they were never going to get into the whole what happened to Simmons on that planet, because you know how quickly, like the end of the last episode, things were kind of like left into like a, I don't know if a liminal space is the right way of saying it, where like we're not really sure which direction we're going to go on. But I'm sure there were some people who were thinking, what? That's it? We're not going to see... Yes, but you have to exercise something called patience. And then, of course, as we saw with just this episode, we're seeing... at the end, we have an idea of where it's going to go. But throughout the episode, we just saw that, yeah, she was on a planet, but it fucked her up. Obviously, it fucked her up. And we're seeing the consequences of that. Some more comments here. If Lincoln didn't have trust issues before, that's bad. Yeah, that's really, especially after the kiss, worst timing ever. Just the worst. Yeah. Oh, eyes up here, Coulson. Oh God,
this is good.
And then there's, nah, he wouldn't dare cheat on Lola, would he? God, I love that comment. It's hilarious. Hunter just killed a man with some brass knuckles. That's probably the most brutal thing shown on this show.
Yep.
As
like
you
I
were
said,
saying, David.
Dude, that was really rough. For sure.
Another comment. She needs to go back? Just, I love how we're all of the same mind. Just like, what the episode is showing us. that last scene with Daisy and Coulson had an awkward kind of dad is seeing a new woman after mom left feel. I need May to come back to base.
I didn't even think of it that way, but yeah.
I didn't either, but it's there. I can see it. Last episode had May in a tennis skirt. This episode had May in a blondie shirt with a leather jacket and brass knuckles. Are they trying to kill me? But Ming-Na Wen looks amazing. I mean, she always does, but like, I want to say she was in her like mid-50s when she filmed this. You get a betrayal, and you get a betrayal, and you get a betrayal. Everybody gets a betrayal. Because I guess, what was it?
Oh yeah, Lincoln.
Hunter's friend. Lincoln got betrayed by Daisy and Coulson, basically. And then also, I don't know if some people would, I guess in the moment, it can come across as like Simmons is betraying Fitz because how much Fitz went out of his way to comfort her. And again, if you're just watching this episode, all you can think, she wants to go back.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck? So that was a funny comment. Fitz has seriously raised the boyfriend bar like a mile, and it still didn't get him anywhere at this moment in time. Let's see here. Am I the only one who's starting to really like Rosalind after this episode? I don't know if she's going to be a villain or another frenemy of Coulson's, but she seems like she always has another witty line up her sleeve. Yeah, the way that they're... look, those two actors, they make up for a whole lot, but they are... you are praising, of course. Look, I think overall how they write the dialogue, and especially with most of... Some episodes, there are a lot of information-heavy episodes like this one, but then when you cut back to the exchanges that those two characters have had, I'm sorry, it's pretty steamy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even gonna lie there. Like it's doing its job.
Yeah, exactly. It's doing its job. It's working.
This episode made me like Lincoln more. It finally added something of substance to his character. Not a huge fan of the romance subplot, though. What do you feel about that?
No, sorry, say it again.
He said he's not a huge fan of the romance subplot. How do you feel so far about? Sometimes when we get to moments like this, and there's a kiss involved, either it's like warranted, or maybe it feels like too soon, or maybe it doesn't feel too soon, but it still doesn't hit the right way. I thought like those two actors like were great in the scene. I mean, do you think it was too soon for a kiss? What do you think?
I don't. The thing is, though, with Lincoln and Daisy, I just don't see it. like that much chemistry with them compared to Coulson and Rosalind.
But David, you're not alone.
It's like immediately you're like, oh yeah, I could.
Yeah.
What the heck? Like, there's tension here. I love it, And again, when she pulled up in the car and he's looking at it, I'm just kind of like, bro,
David,
they're hooking
you kind
up.
of just already, it's cooked. Like, that's what it is. And again, she had better chemistry with Ghost Rider, which that was not going to happen. But I mean,
yeah, but she really did. There was for sure more chemistry between those two, at least with Daisy's character and all.
And then of course Sousa.
Yeah, and then when Sousa came in, the chemistry, I don't know. I actually had trouble with that relationship for a bit
initially.
So I don't know if on my rewatch.
Well, because it was out of left field. Remember, we were covering it in real time, and we were both like, "Are they doing what we think are doing?" It's like there was a lot of ways to feel about it. It also was like a short season, so it's like, what's happening here? Like, but I think you and I at the end of the season we came to the conclusion that this happened. If we had read on paper what they were going to do, we would have been like, oh no.
Yeah.
But by the end?
I mean, it's just the thing, though, is that what worked in the end is that Sousa's a good man. Like, he just he's the perfect gentleman, really, and obviously because of the times, that's just who he is, and so that really worked.
It's funny, like again, like in retrospect, I know we've just moved on and talking about like Daisy and Susan now, but it's just like you wouldn't expect it, but I guess like, and I think what makes it work is that she didn't expect it either, and she didn't think that this would be something that would work for her either. That's what's interesting. That's what also in part made it work, is that this was not something that Daisy was pursuing. It's something that just kind of like happened organically in a weird way, and she was like, "Am I into this?"
Yeah.
Whereas all the other people, it's like, it's funny because like with Lincoln, like she supposedly loved, but I don't think it ever quite worked all the way. I think that there could have been something with like Robbie Reyes, but he didn't last on the show. It would have been funny if somehow she ended up with Deke, but from the very beginning, she had like nothing.
Yeah,
she wanted
zero
nothing
interest
to do with him. Like she got like zero interest, probably a lot of ick, and like she probably sees him like Daisy sees like let me see here.
I mean, he's kind of like a little brother, but not just for her, but for like everyone in the group.
He's
so new,
brother.
and because he's so inexperienced with like the world that he was living on, people just kind of like went, "Oh," and like all the time with him, you know.
It's funny because like Deke's role when he comes back from the future, like he's literally just like the baby of the group. Like he's he really is. So yeah.
But then I think like the best comparison, I guess, for Lincoln and Daisy would have to be between Hunter and Bobby, or Mac and Yo-Yo, because they're the ones that like kind of, they really had to develop the relationship. And with Mac and Yo-Yo, I don't think the chemistry was the same as with that of Coulson and Rosalind, but there was still a good build up to their relationship. There was like a lot of trust between the two, and they did both help each other, like, you know, become better versions of themselves. Especially with the moment with Yo-Yo, when she can finally, you know, she's no longer doing the yo-yo thing.
Right.
And then with Hunter and Bobby, again, chemistry not the same as Coulson and Rosalind, but I think what's really cool with those two is that there is just a mutual understanding with the both of them, and that they both kind of know that their relationship's just always going to be rocky in some way. But like I said, a mutual understanding. And so I don't know what it is about with Daisy and Lincoln. It's just my least favorite relationship of the whole entire series. And I really don't know what it is about. I think it could be just be Lincoln, that he's sort of our least favorite character. At least within the good side of the group and all that.
And again, like, there's a lot of relationships in this show, and I'm trying to think, like, okay, which is the one that I just... Well, let me ask you this. I don't know, do you consider Deke and Snowflake a relationship? That psychotic, crazy bitch that was trying to cut people into butterflies in season 6? Because those two hooked up for a minute. It wasn't really a real relationship. She was... They just kind of hooked up in a van.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, it's not great, right? Like,
I mean, I don't remember that. So
I know. I'm talking about Lincoln and Daisy now.
Yeah,
I'm going back to that because I feel like she does not get over him for like almost the rest of the show.
Yeah, and honestly,
and
when that came up, I was like, really? I was honestly kind of shocked. I'm like,
oh my god,
Lincoln of all people, you couldn't get over. I don't know. You had it seemed like you could have gone.
I got over him the minute he left the show.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So I don't know. It just comes out of left field, that little bit of information that she couldn't get over it and all that. So yeah, I think it's just we don't really like Lincoln as much as we should have, or as much as they wanted us to. Because I mean, you kept pointing it out too in this episode. It's like, we understand why he wants to like run away, be on his own and all that, but at the same time, like, dude, you know you don't have an option.
Right here, another comment right here. So Phil and Rosalind, Daisy is getting a new stepmom, and then someone responds, "They definitely have some chemistry, at least more than Daisy and Lincoln." Again, this is a comment. By the way, this comment section is like the night that the episode aired 10 years ago. So just immediately people were like, not feeling it.
Yeah.
And I don't know what isn't working.
Yeah,
is it
because
the way
on
the
paper,
character is being written?
Yeah, because like on paper, it kind of should have. You know, both of them are Inhumans. Right. Both of them are kind of like sort of left behind throughout their lives. One because it wasn't her fault, but with Lincoln, it was his fault and everything, and he kind of wants to better himself for it. And Daisy can for sure help him. And then with Lincoln, he's lost everything. With Daisy, she didn't have much and tried to build something on her own. Like there's something on paper, like there's something there that could work between the both of them, but we're just not feeling it. So I don't know, man. It's crazy to kind of think about it.
Yeah. I saw a comment that said that I love how Coulson is just done fighting with shady organizations. He really is.
Yeah.
He was just like not even like gonna entertain a prolonged conflict like there was in the previous couple of seasons. Daisy Lincolnship was completely overshadowed by Fitzsimmons tonight. Honestly, not a fan of Daisy Lincoln. There was zero lead up.
I mean, I wouldn't say zero. No, there was something set up there.
We knew from the beginning, like things are gonna go that way. I guess what doesn't help is that the characters have been separated for most of the 3 episodes of this season, and things have not been on the best note, shall we say. Mm-hmm. It may, I think, have worked better if we started the season with Lincoln already being with S.H.I.E.L.D., and then maybe we can gather that they've been together for months. Not like together as a couple, but just like together in each other's spaces. And then they begin to grow closer. I can see from that perspective, but no, we knew what this is going to happen. New ship name for Lincoln Daisy: Aftershock or Lazy.
Lazy.
Or Lacey. Not lazy. Funny. Lacey. Lacey goes with how lazy the build-up felt. Damn. These are pretty hilarious comments. Just to be honest with you. Like seriously, just like trying to look at what people were thinking when they saw this episode the night that it aired. But yeah, let me go ahead and look at what Eric Goldman had to say. While the title for A Wanted Inhuman referred to Lincoln, and his story was solid, the episode's most notable content dealt with Simmons. She was back, but hardly back to her usual self. Elizabeth Henstridge was terrific here, as Simmons seemed on edge and often almost in pain from being around, while nearly everything. Mundane things like cell phone ringing out under her skin, and Henstridge did an excellent job showing her trying to put on the best face she could, but struggling so much underneath. It was touching seeing Fitz trying so hard. Yes, I awed worthy moment how he held that restaurant reservation for them, hoping she'd return, but he just couldn't help her, at least not yet. Regarding where she was and what happened to her, that remained a mystery, except for the reference to her being hunted. But Simmons saying she had to go back at the end was a nice curveball. It is because she feels so out of sorts back home? Or is there something that happened there that she needs to finish? That is important enough to risk herself to go back. Maybe say someone she met who she wants to rescue. We shall see. Eric, did you get some behind the scenes information before, or was that just a pretty accurate guess? That's interesting. Maybe it was. I just would not, I think many Fitzsimmons people would not allow themselves to think for a second that she could be with somebody other than Fitz. And then, of course, that was well, you know what that was. As for Lincoln, it was a nice touch learning Mac had put a tracker in him during their brief encounter in the season premiere. And having him reach out to a good friend he had met while in AA was an efficient way to add some shading to Lincoln in his past. Though it was a bit silly and cliche to the close confidant sees news report about friend and freaks out without trying to get explanation route. However, the fact that Roebuck's character actually died from his heart attack despite Lincoln trying to use his powers as a defibrillator, and that Lincoln didn't redeem himself to his friend or anyone else by saving him was effective. Also surprising and amusing was Lincoln not being brought in by S.H.I.E.L.D. again. He sure isn't going along with the go with the team and become a secret warrior playbook so far. Of course, he and Daisy did sneak in a kiss, so there's that. Though I didn't really feel much chemistry there. You see? it's every...
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. As for the episode's third big plot line, it was also a lot of fun seeing Hunter and May teamed up on their own, trying to get Hunter infiltrated with Hydra. As a big Spartacus fan, I love seeing Dan I'm not going to pronounce his name. Dan as Hunter's kind of sort of buddy Spud. They needed to cozy up to in order to get close to Hydra. Yeah. That was good. Okay, May giving away just how formidable she is as this quote-unquote tiny little Asian woman was a crowd pleaser as well. On the heels of a rather dark turn of events that found 3 men attempting to sexually assault her, even though it's a big gamble for her to bet on none of them a big gamble of her to bet on none of them talking. Honestly, I thought she might kill them to ensure their silence. Though, perhaps that might be a bit too much killing, as Hunter's story took its own tragic turn, and he got his in with Hydra by fighting dirty and accidentally killing Spud, even if Spud seemed like he would have killed him too. Still, having both Lincoln and Hunter basically have to process being responsible for the deaths of people in their lives was quite a parallel storyline. Meanwhile, despite their differences, we got some more amusing banter between Coulson and Rosalind. I feel chemistry between. And her eyes up here as he eyeballed her car was a very funny bit. Eric, let's see here. Gave this episode 8.2. Great. Yeah, I think the takes so far from this episode are pretty unanimous. Let's go ahead and go over to Ami.
I have to go back.
What? Why? What is over there? I thought it would be weird if we just absolutely dropped that, but I also don't know how we would just get back either. Oh my lord, what was she running from? What was hunting her? What do we not know? God, fuck. Whatever, we'll figure it out. The whole thing with Fitz helping to not only guide and welcome Simmons back into the facility, he's also helping Bobby through all of this, kind of coaching her as well, because he literally had to go through all of this in a different way, but same idea, process in general to rehab his mind, his even his body, you know, because he had these tics, he had these hang-ups, you know, he couldn't use his hands all that well, and now he's just like he's talked about, he's like, I said the word antithesis without any issues. I like that we finally acknowledged, you know, that transition, that growth, you know, he worked on it, it took time, and like we said, you know, that manifestation of Gemma in his mind, he was able to answer.
I didn't even catch that moment.
All the time, but he physically couldn't get them out. But she always had those answers. She guided him along. She was there, showing that they're in his mind. Everything was always there. It's just the bridges necessarily weren't stable. So over time and perseverance and practice, he was able to get through it all. And he's doing that and being that for Bobby here as well, passing that on. I love that. And then, you know, helping ease Simmons into this. He's trying, you know, knowing that these auditory signals kind of set her off. It's like, okay, well, I still have a reservation. That warmed my heart, man, that he still had the reservation from the night she disappeared held until she finally came back. That is some romantic ass shit. But when she was breaking down, because it was almost like this realization that, like, is this actually happening? You know, she still just recently got back, you know? So, like, I'm sure there's part of her, like, I'm in this fancy restaurant. There's wine here. There's all this food to choose from. You know, there's got to be a part of her mind that might even just consider, like, is this even real? Is this even happening? Have I lost my mind? Am I dreaming? Am I trapped there and I just don't know it still? Like, I'm wrestling with that here and the realization that she's safe, but there's also something out there still that she needs to take care of. That's the revelation here we got. Meanwhile, Hunter and May are infiltrating Ward's organization, and, you know, they went through this Fight Club audition, and it was a bloody affair, man. Dude, Hunter, honestly, I'm proud he got through it without any intervention from May. Like, they brought that up, so I knew it had to come into play somehow, and it did. These dudes approached her, tried to make a play, forced themselves upon her, and she got taken into a back room where they were planning to do whatever they were going to do. And she's like, all right, cool, there's no eyes here, so I don't have to heed Hunter's warning, and you guys are way too manly to go out there and admit that I just whooped your asses, so I think I'm pretty safe to cut loose in here.
He cracked his knuckles. I could actually hear it.
Oh, that was great. And then you just have Coulson and this Rosalind trying to, like, figure out how to navigate protecting the world. Obviously, from their end of the spectrum, they don't have this knowledge. They don't know. They don't have this experience that goes with all this, so they're doing things pretty much the military way, and the only way that they know how to, and with that pressure on them to bring results, she's being a little extreme. And he's just like, hey, listen, that's going to just make things worse. And if we're going to prevent this situation from escalating, maybe we should work together. As much as I hate it, maybe we should work together. You know, I'll let you know what we know, because we know way more than you do. And he tried to barter with Lincoln, which was just a shitty move to begin with. I get it. We're in a sticky situation. From Coulson's point of view, there's really not a lot of moves to make, but that just makes everything so much worse. You know, then they wanted Daisy in exchange, but instead, they're like, okay, well, I'll trade myself, my cooperation, you know, our knowledge, our expertise, and my team, they will have access to that. You know, I don't trust you, but I'm tired of fighting all these other fights just to be like, well, I'm right. No, I'm right. No, I'm right. You know, we just got to protect the world. He's just like, I got to stop the squabbling and be the shield. And if this helps us be the shield for this world, then it's the sacrifice he's got to make. You know, still have that wall up because we can't trust these people. They've shown that time and again, but right now it's the plan he had to make to save his agents, you know, and then Mac at the end of the day too, despite how his feelings on Lincoln and all that, you know, overhearing that conversation between Daisy and him. And again, I don't know, was that like, I get like she feeling that need, that connection, everything that she was saying to him was true. I never entertained romantic feelings between those two. Never crossed my mind in the slightest. So when she leaned in for that kiss, to me, and maybe it was genuine, but to me, it was just like, okay, man, is she just trying to like use her womanly wiles to like calm him down and pull him into their side, or did she mean it? They played it like she meant it. Like,
I actually thought of that too, like while watching the episode. I knew that it was actually real feelings, but that it crossed my mind.
When she felt like a monster and that she was listless and had no life left, you know, he gave her a lot beyond any kind of affection or anything of the sort. It was just compassion. And you see him kicking himself. And, you know, he's his life that we don't really know a lot about, you know, how he got saved, how he got brought into afterlife, and how that changed everything. You know, he said he's like repeatedly needed to be saved by multiple people throughout his life. You know, he's always been the one to be on the ledge and somebody's had to go pull him off of it. Whatever he means by that, not exactly sure. And then this one friend, you know, the person he thought he trusted, and the person who even like sold to him that, hey man, I got you, whatever you need, car, whatever. And then the second they saw that news report, that all fell apart. That broke my heart. Like, especially considering like he opened with, hey dude, they're saying some shit about me that is not true. There's a misunderstanding. And he's like, yeah man, I trust you. The second any of that caught his ear, outside of that, flipped. That's shitty. That sucks so much. And then the fear response when Lincoln did defend himself, caused him to have that heart attack. That's more guilt on him. And then he wasn't able to revive him. More guilt on him. The only common denominator between all these really bad things that have happened in my life, that happened to Afterlife, that happened to this man, is me. I'm still standing, so it's gotta be me. Like, I feel bad for him, man. I really, really do. And I like how at the end of the day, they got this surveillance footage of Sky. They got this surveillance footage of Lincoln. But we don't have any footage of this portal hopping hedgehog. I feel like he's probably the bigger issue, considering they got a morgue full of bodies that this dude has left behind. But we're not talking about that. We're more concerned with whatever resources that Coulson's hoarding and tracking down Lincoln and stuff like that. And I feel like we got a bigger prize out there to catch. But yeah, a fun episode all the same. Great episode.
All right. David. We saw a lot of different reactions right there. Do we have other things for you to add on?
No. This was a really good episode. In terms of like getting, setting up things for what's to come and all of that. Like, it was just spitting off one information after another, that bringing in tension within each character. Like, this was really, really good. Like I said, I pointed it out with the dialogue. It's like we're getting so much information and really.
Don't you miss TV like this?
Yes. But yeah, it was great.
All right, well, thank you so much for joining us this week for another installment of our Shield Reaction Commentary series. We so hope that you will continue to join us, and of course, leave any comments down below on any of what we said. Perhaps you feel the same way. Maybe you feel differently. We'd be most curious to hear from some of you what your feelings are toward the whole Daisy Lincoln thing, whether or not you felt something, and if you do, and then also as what you overall think or feelings that you have toward Lincoln as a character, because I'm sure that's going to be the big debate of this season. You can already see it. Thank you all so much, and we will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.